Welcome to episode 2 of Golf Dogs. You're here with Quentin and Doty, and we're here to give you a Super Bowl recap. And I just want to tell you something. If you're sitting in your basement with a Jalen Hurts jersey behind you, you're probably pretty happy too. Your hat might look as goofy as mine, and if it doesn't, you're doing something wrong. And I'm nearly ready to black out after an entire weekend of Eagles mania, so I'm going to pitch it over to Mike for first impressions. Oh, God.
I don't know how you top that entry, so I'm just gonna hit you with a welcome to Golf Dogs, number one
Golf
in
Dogs!
caring. Everybody, number one in caring.
Number one in yes.
Yeah, so that's
Every
all
episode.
That's all I have to get you started. Just number one in caring.
What'd you come away with from this game, Mike? As someone that had a chance to be an Eagles fan, right? When you switched from the commies
Sure.
to the Lions,
Sure.
right? But what were your takeaways here? A 40-22 curb stomping of the Kansas shitty Chiefs.
I don't think there's a lot of people out in the world that would have predicted it. I don't. I don't think that there was a lot of people who thought that the game would go that way. What was very apparent to me was it felt like the Chiefs prepared for one thing and one thing only in regard to how they were going to defend, and their only objection was to take away Quan. And to their credit, they did, right? But anyone that wants to shit on Saquon and be like, "Oh, he didn't do anything in the Super Bowl," which I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are saying that, but look at what the guy did. He made an entire defense scheme around him and opened everything else up outside of himself and made the gameplay simpler for his teammates. So a massive victory for number 26 in Philadelphia, I believe. What became apparent to me was that they prepped for one thing, which was to shut down Saquon. I think Hurts came in and played a fantastic game. And this is all objectively speaking. I was rooting for a meteor to hit the stadium. I mean, I was not invested in this game.
In the words of Christian McCaffrey, I hope both teams lose.
Yeah, I don't know how it was possible outside of a potential meteor, but I was not necessarily invested in either one of these teams. So very objectively speaking, I mean, the way that the game looked to me was that the Chiefs were there to make sure that they were not beat by 26. And they achieved it, but they got destroyed by the rest of the Eagles team, which is crazy talented.
No birds.
I think that the Eagles showed up and played a fantastic game. I think Hurts made roughly one mistake on the interception, which was poorly underthrown.
Calm down. That's my MVP.
Yeah, but I mean that was it. I mean everything else was a very well-rounded and well-executed game plan, and it was, by the time they came out at half, the only thing that I was rooting for was for the Chiefs to be under 100 total yards for the day, because like how embarrassing. So I 100%, I was on the train of like, hey, if we're gonna do it this way, let's make it real embarrassing.
Stop. Give him a shutout.
Everyone. Oh, this team had no quit. They came. That we threw. You didn't threaten. All right, get over yourselves. You played like shit. You got it kicked in. I mean, they stomped all over you. It started from the get-go when that pig named John Hamm had a voice crack. That should have been all you needed to know. If you're ever watching this, John Hamm, you have a pig name.
You do. You're a deli cut, John.
That should have been all that they needed to know, that game was going south, and it was going south quick.
It was an ugly game. Unless you were an Eagles fan, then it was a great game. And to your point about Quan, still had a reasonable and respectable game and gave us some 3 yards here, 4 yards there, a couple late
I'm not shitting on the guy, right?
No, but you know what? You know what the best thing about Quan was in this game was everything else, because anybody that's been, first of all, just because it's burnt into my mind about the, hope nobody wins, Christian McCaffrey saying that, and then you saying a meteor. I saw a meme today
I don't
and it
feel
had
good about that, by the
it
way,
had
but
an
go
image.
on.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's very hurtful to the Philadelphia fan base, which is a very reasonable fan base.
Yeah,
Number
they
one in
love Santa.
caring.
They love Santa out there in Philly.
So, GIF of or a meme, whatever. I've been on the internet a lot in the last 90 days trying to do something here for our 36 followers on YouTube. Thank you for being there.
Thank you
Um,
to all 36. Number one in caring here, folks. Number
boom.
one in caring.
Map of America, right? And it
Yeah.
shows a little decal of an eagle in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then it shows a Kansas City loser in Kansas City, and then the rest is gray, right? And it's like, oh, people rooting for the Eagles this weekend, green in Pennsylvania, right? And then boom, same thing. And the rest of the country was gray, and then gray in the key at the bottom was people hoping Tiger Woods wins the major in 2025.
I did see that. And I fall in the gray category. I would love to see old T Dubs with a new rise to
Oh, Tiger,
victory.
you kidding me?
Yeah, RIP to his mother and
Yes.
best to the family in that scenario. But yeah, I would love to see Tiger win another. So I'm in the gray category. I was
I
in
want
the
to see
gray
him wearing that
category.
Sunday
Yeah,
red.
I was in the gray category as like before that meme was ever made. I just didn't know it. So
But Quan, after the
yeah,
first drive, when I think all of America thought that the refs were going to try to gift this thing to the Chiefs,
I'll tell
Quan
you this
turns
much.
around at the bench and he's doing this, telling guys, calm the fuck down, stay focused.
I will tell you this much. You would have been proud to be my friend after the first drive because I was all for a game. And it turns out that we didn't get a game. But I thought
We got
first
an
off
ass whooping.
that pass interference call on that first drive was absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
If you were going to throw that flag, you would have had to throw it for illegal use of hands to the face, and I still wouldn't have bought it because it was still a lollipop flag that got thrown out
It
there.
was a
But
lollipop flag, and he was like reaching for chest, and I get that like what he touched the helmet. Dude fucking was tripping over his own feet, right?
sure,
Like
I'm not taking away from the egregiousness that was the penalty because the penalty should have never that hanky should have never left the waistband.
they did give us a little
So
payback on Goddard though, a couple drives
and
later.
and that's where
You
when
know,
that happened, my only response was we're even, keep them in the waistband, let the boys play, right?
first of all, I'm offended that you say to me that I would be proud to be your friend because I thought we were brothers.
Okay, well you would have been proud to
I
be my
thought we
brother.
were brothers in
You
arms, Michael.
brothers don't shake hands. Brothers got a hug.
Number
Um,
one in caring.
Number one in caring. No, I was livid. After the scrutiny that the NFL referees went through over the last week in preparation and leading up to the Super Bowl, you can't afford to start it that way on the first drive. You
Sure.
just you
Go
you
on.
you cannot. I love it. I love it. I do. I'm a big fan.
Welcome to
You
the
can't start
future.
the game that way. You can't start the
Star
game that
Wars
way.
football version.
Ultimately, didn't matter.
No,
Okay.
just an ass whooping. Do you see C.J. Gardner Johnson on the sideline taking a belt to that ass?
I'm
Mid-game?
going to be
Love the guy.
vulnerable with you for a minute. If you put C.J. Gardner Johnson in a lineup, I wouldn't be able to pick him out. So no, I did not see that.
Is that because he's green?
I don't know how to I don't know how I don't know how to answer that
No,
question.
no hable words.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know
that's
how to answer that question.
plead the
I
fifth.
thought,
Nothing.
hey,
Nothing
what
bad
what
things
an
happened
Eagles
since the season's gone
performance.
on.
Okay, what an Eagles performance.
Just incredible.
Um,
Dominant.
what I think my takeaway from a lot of it is it felt like the Chiefs just believe that the Chiefs is the Chiefs and that they should just win. It
Yep.
didn't, and I know that that's not from the top down. I don't believe that that's an Andy Reid philosophy. I don't
No.
believe I don't believe that that is necessarily from the coaching standpoints. But it felt like the players just didn't even show up. It felt like
Well,
they just
yeah,
thought
they
like
made
we
no
have
adjustments.
15 and we're just gonna walk away with a dub because it's what they did all year. But it was it was as embarrassing as a Super Bowl could be for old Patty and Travis, and I loved it.
Travis.
I loved it still.
Yeah.
Would never have anticipated it.
You know
Wasn't
what
did
though? I mean, fucking to your point about Chiefs had an air about them, right? And not only did the coaching staff really not seem to make any adjustments to the Eagles front line, D line that was just hooking all night, but the players, they all at halftime, like right before and coming out in the middle of third quarter and shit, they all looked stunned like they'd been punched in the mouth and they didn't know how to respond to that.
well, they had been punched in the mouth and they didn't know how to respond clearly. So, what a fair assessment from your standpoint.
Some call me Captain
I watched
Obvioso.
I watched a clip today where they actually had like a mic'd up portion of Brady during the Atlanta game. The what was it? The 20 was it 28-3?
It was 28-3. Yeah.
28-3, and then the Patriots come back, and I watched what Brady was saying on the sideline, and night and day difference between, we didn't know what was being said over there, at
Right.
least at this point. But night and day difference in regard to the approach that was taken, just the mentality, right? Where he's saying, hey, we got to be perfect coming in. We got to lock this in. We got to get this going. And if there's any coaching combination in the NFL that can get that done, I do believe that it's Andy Reid and Bunch. But yeah, just didn't happen. And, you know, not not disappointed by it. Would have been a tough pill to swallow to have Patty Mahomes walking around that much closer to Tom at that young of an age, and in a in a franchise that supports everything that's needed in order to harbor a winning team. So, um, not disappointed by the results one bit. There was a couple interesting things that came up at our Super Bowl watch party. Two things really of note that I, number one,
Brought to you by Golf Dogs.
was that everyone in the room, other than myself, was a little disappointed and annoyed that Kenny Pickett was finishing the game on the field. Um,
Okay.
to
Okay.
which my response,
I'm gonna come back at you on that, but go on.
was, "Are you guys idiots? Do you not think that 8 hours out of this guy's day was spent in the corner of whatever practice facility they were working in with two gloves on that had super stickums on them?"
Not
And
a
they
fan
said,
of
"Hey,
two gloves at
hey,
quarterback. Not a fan
hey,
of even one.
I'm not a no, I'm not a fan of it either. But Kenny's
Get your
got
Teddy
small hands, and they
Bridgewater
couldn't afford a
doppelganger
fumble
shit
there."
out of here.
But like, do you not think that the Eagles are going to sit there and say, "Hey, Kenny, your only real role if we're going to win this thing is going to be if it's a blowout. So go stand in the corner of the practice facility, okay? Go over to the corner with a center and take 8 hours worth of snaps with two gloves on, okay? And here's some substances to put on your gloves, okay? We don't want any fumbles out there, Kenny, right?" But my response to this is, they were all like, "Oh, Hurts needs to be out there. He's got to take the final snaps." And I'm like, "No, he doesn't. He seems to be enjoying
No, he
himself on
doesn't.
the sideline."
It's the
And
ultimate team too, right?
and
Like
quite
none
frankly,
of them cared about
maybe
credit.
maybe Kenny Pickett was just practicing the genuflect offense all day. He very well might have been. That might have been Kenny Pickett's Super Bowl week. May have been practicing the genuflect offense in the corner of the practice facility. So that was one interesting note of things that came through in our Super Bowl watch party. The other was the dumping of the Gatorade cooler when it
With 3 minutes
happened.
left.
And I do believe
Yeah.
I looked this up before we got on. It appears as though the Gatorade dump happened around 2:57
Okay.
left, so well before a 2-minute warning. Also, if you were a bettor of the yellow Gatorade, and I'm not a cop, so I don't know what the name of it is, but I would assume maybe lemon lime.
I think it's lemon lime, yeah.
Okay, officer,
Why would you
tell
have
us
to be a
again.
cop Why would you have to
That's
sidebar?
an it's
Why
an
would
old
you? Why would
meme.
one have to be a cop
It's an old
in
meme.
order to determine
It's an
the
old meme.
name of a colored
There's
Gatorade that's been widely publicized for like 40 fucking years in
because I'm
convenience
telling you,
stores
it's an
everywhere? What
old
edge does a cop have, Michael? Sorry, needed
be,
to drive a wedge into this one for a
because I'm
minute
telling
before I
you, it's
let
a
you finish on
meme.
the
There was a
gambling end of
meme
it.
one time that said if you call Gatorade by its legal name, you're 100% a cop. And someone came on and said, "Well, how can you tell the difference in blues if you don't call it glacial freeze and whatever the other one was?" And the very next comment came in that said, "Good try, officer." So it's just an old meme. That's all it is.
All right,
But
all
if
right.
you were, hey, look,
The
I
defense rests.
that's where the comment came from. And I feel like there's enough people in the world that will register that comment. Yeah, if if you didn't,
You
that you
saying
have the
you saying I'm not
explanation now.
cultured? Are you
Well, you
saying
might
I'm
not be
not cultured, Michael?
You
I'm a
might not.
Philadelphia Eagles fan. I bleed green. I wear sunglasses from the year
That statement,
3000. And I'm here to tell you that there's a dynasty brewing in Philadelphia. We got one. We're about to get another. Why? Because we got a young team full of piss and vinegar.
it
We got a
is
leader that
scary
ain't
out
afraid to
there.
be a leader. We got a running back that looks more like a sack of potatoes dropped into some hot oil with the crispy exterior and a little Himalayan sea salt. Who couldn't resist a natural cut sea salt French fry? Because that's the same thing we got brewing with Saquon. Everybody loves him, okay? He's that potato that everybody revels in, the Ohio product, even though he's not an Ohio product. I'm talking about, stay with me, potatoes, okay? Delicious. Probably more like Iowa. We've gone off track quite a bit now, and I'm going to give it right back to you, Mike, because I've interrogated you enough on the
I have
premises
no
and
idea where
fallacies
we
that you
even
brought forward
are.
about interrogational skills regarding Gatorade 5-0 practices. I apologize that I did not know this obscure meme. You've already told me I'm not cultured. I'll wear that ring right now. I'll wear that crown heavy, okay? Because
Okay.
here in Philadelphia, we climb poles that are greased
And all of just about
and burn
everything.
cars and flip shit and unload rider trucks that are on their way for delivery. I don't know if you saw that. They took the goods out the back of a rider truck, and as a man that works in transportation and logistics, I pity the rider claims department come this Monday morning. They had a hell of a day on their hands. I'll tell you what, somebody was fielding phone calls from an overseas office telling them, hold on a minute while I get my specialist on the line, because ain't nobody ever seen shit like this. And I mean that two ways, Mike. I've never seen that in a parade, so to speak, and I've never seen a team like this. Whoa, goddamn! I'm gonna give it back to you, Mike. I took it too far there.
I think it's safe to say that Matt might not be on any sleep. He might still be riding that high of last night. And
It's not
you know
true.
what? More
I slept
power
like a
to
baby.
you. I don't even know what world we just transported to, but I know it was pretty far away from Gatorade bath. And look, here was my argument when they were talking about the Gatorade bath has gone wrong before.
What do you
There have
mean?
been teams who have gotten it wrong where they dumped too
They
soon.
missed the coach.
Well,
Shit
or
like
they
that.
just dumped too soon, thinking that you had this in the
Really? That's
bag,
happened?
right?
The
I
Gatorade
don't
bath has
know that
happened
it's
and then
ever
they lost?
I don't know that it's ever happened in the NFL or in the Super Bowl, but I can guarantee you that there are Gatorade baths gone wrong out in this world. And maybe a lot of them stem at the high school level, and maybe some of them expand into college. And I can't list a particular reference that it was ever done in the NFL. But at the time that that Gatorade bath was
Say
done,
you're a fucking liar. Go on.
statistically, they were drawing dead, right? And it only strengthened some of
they
my
were.
points, which was that I was all in support of Kenny Pickett in the genuflect offense at that point. And I kept telling people, what do you need the electrolytes for? We got Kenny Pickett on the field.
right,
And
we
he's a
got
good
Kenny.
boy. He's a good boy. And he's getting it done for the Eagles. All right.
Do it.
So,
Coach said, hey, Kenny, stand over there in the corner for 6 hours at the facility and take steps. Yeah, right?
and hey, don't get yourself dehydrated throughout the game, pal, because by the time you're in, we're dumping some stuff on Sirianni. Okay. We are
Can I show you
dumping
how Kenny
on
Pickett walked
Sirianni
in the
at that
locker
point.
room at halftime?
I didn't hear what you just said.
Can I show you how Kenny Pickett walked into the locker room at halftime?
Yeah, let's see it.
He did this. He came in, right? And he said, hey, did I tell you boy the one about when Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime at
And the
Boyman
Bundog
Bowl?
on the
Butthead,
Bundog.
where
Tell
all
you about that one.
Nobody might know that movie better than you. I know I just butchered that one a little bit, but the
I,
Bobby
no,
Boucher.
you didn't butcher it at all. I thought you hit that spot on. I do love myself some
Thank
Waterboy.
you.
As a child, I had recorded the Waterboy on a VHS tape, and in the
Okay.
weirdest form of a mixtape, because you know how it was when you were a kid.
Oh
VHS
yeah.
tape, they had plenty more um, recording capacity than one movie could usually handle, because you usually got something between
You're getting like
6 to 8
Jimmy's third
hours out of it.
birthday party on the back end of
Yeah,
that.
my
Rolls right
water
into the
boy,
wedding.
the back end of my water boy feature, which that VHS tape was definitely featured with the water boy. That was the first star film that came out. But Patch Adams for a second. Patch Adams was on the back end side of that. I know that VHS like the back of my hand.
Hell yeah.
It was that VHS with my other VHS, which had the Sandlot on it, and
Ooh.
those were like my when I was faking being sick and called off
Sure.
school. Like those were the feature films that I was
You
watching every
liar.
time, every
How,
time.
how dare you lie to your parents to miss school? I
It
would
was
never
more to the
do that.
school than it was to my parents. I feel like my parents always knew what was up. They knew the
Yeah.
tricks. They knew the old thermometer on the light bulb, get it a little, okay, the kid says he's 130 degrees. Why isn't he dead? Okay. Why isn't he
That's
dead?
true. That's true.
But you know what? If you went through that level of ingenuity in my household, they took it as kid might just need a break. So, they'd call you off. They'd call you off. So,
Oh man.
but those were my feature films. It was Waterboy followed by Patch Adams, and Sandlot was always in the mix. I mean, I love the
Yeah.
Sandlot.
Sandlot was great. I was probably I mean anything that Adam Sandler period of time,
It was tough to get
between
away from in our generation, right?
yeah, I mean you got Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. Those were the two for me, but obviously Waterboy. And that Waterboy was a little bit later, right?
Yeah,
Um
Waterboy was a little bit later than those, but it was, it was a
no more than 5
that
years though,
that
right?
that
Yeah.
no, it
Yeah,
wasn't out of
it was
skew.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those that generation of Sandler was a great generation, and people who didn't experience it may not appreciate him as much as everybody else. But those were great Sandler years.
And for those out there that
You just
know
hit that
this,
guy.
you'll
Well, you
know
shouldn't have
this.
been
Shouldn't
standing
have been
there.
standing there. But just the Adam Sandler. I the first time I heard the following, I think I was like 8, maybe 9, and my parents and another set of parents and their kids, we all went to one of the neighbors behind our neighborhood, like I don't know, dude, it was a quarter mile away, right? And it was one of those cases. It was awesome too because there were no cell phones and fucking iPads and shit, right? So it was a bunch of kids, probably like 7 or 8 of us, anywhere from the age of, I think I was one of the youngest, so like maybe 7 or 8 years old. And then there were a couple of the boys that were like 13, right? And anywhere in between. And so like we're playing in the basement and it's an unfinished basement. We were playing handball and then it turned into um, some wall ball. And then it turned into, hey, have you guys ever heard this? And it was like the 13-year-olds, right? And they just, boom, popped a little tape in. And it was, Toll Booth Willie, I'm getting out of the booth now. And if you haven't seen that, folks, I'm not crazy. Well, I am. But just Google or YouTube Toll Booth Willie, Adam Sandler, and you're going to enjoy it. You remember that one, Mikey. I know
I,
that one strikes with you.
I do. Anytime you take a stroll down the Happy Madison production line, I'm usually pretty well equipped. Not like not to say that they're 100% my favorites, but the generation that we grew up in was a great generation for those types of movies,
Oh, yeah.
and they crushed it. Right? R.I.P. Chris Farley, gone too soon. What could we have gotten had you still been around? Because what a what an absolute menace. I mean, just the guy was a G. So yeah, great time to be alive though. Real great
Do
time to be alive.
do golf dogs fans far and wide know that you give probably the best Chris Farley impression North of the Mason-Dixon line.
I don't know that they do. And with the cold, I don't know that they would get the best version of it right now.
I love it. Leave them hanging. Oh, leave them wanting more, Mike.
But
Get
we
it
could
to them
probably
unexpected at some point.
flip something out into the world. A Matt Foley motivational speaker of sorts to some degree. Maybe we
Yeah.
could find a way to marry Matt Foley with Dan Campbell.
Ooh. I think one of these upcoming podcasts has to have 2 segments plus a GSB. So let's just rip 15 minutes each. And one is minutes with Maddie, and I am just interviewing you. Not no, it's got to be Matt Foley. It's got to be Maddie's my name too. So whatever. Not that we have to worry about like this. I mean, thank you all 63 people that will watch this episode until we brand it later, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Yo, I remember them OG days." But a Matt Foley segment led by you, and a Dan Campbell segment. Maybe those are the bookends, and in the middle
Could
we
be.
have a GSB.
Could be. And
And you have,
and
dude,
we
you
can
got to be in
certainly
character for all 15 minutes.
we can
It'd be fucking
certainly try to
incredible.
storyboard the Chris Farley Matt Foley character, which to Matt's point,
Which one is that? I've never seen it before in my life.
okay,
Can you tell me more about it?
I think you've seen it up close and personal when I've been filleting fish, but to each his own, sir.
I was trying to egg you on,
I don't. I mean, I did it a little bit earlier.
Did what?
I did bust a little Foley in earlier when we were talking. It was very brief.
Sorry, my ears were off. Can you describe this more?
I mean, that Veronica Vaughn is one fine piece of ace.
Now you didn't.
But her and a buddy of mine, they got it on. I almost coughed off that one.
Hey, man. That's why you're Kobe Bryant right now. Got that Mamba man.
Hey, Dad, I can't see. Is that no Shakespeare over there?
Yes. There it is. There it is. That's Matt Foley, everyone, and he's been in our basement drinking coffee for 9 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably storybook something. I'm certainly fat enough to pull it off with some form of conviction. So
stop that shit, Mike. You are thick and fibrous and talented.
I appreciate that a great
multi-dimensional.
I can expand rather quickly. So,
bro.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you had in the interest of what we talked about leading into this, which was that we were going to try and roughly time some segments? We're down to 2.5, which is right around the time where the Eagles marinated Nick Sirianni in some lemon lime Gatorade. And my question to you is, would you have anything else that you want to bring up to wrap up some Super Bowl talk?
I do want to say momentarily that if you rode with Matty Hotbets this weekend, you noticed there was a trio. And you noticed that we hit on the largest of the three. So we were profitable. I'm not going to break down the math right now because I've been told that I'm not good at math by many teachers throughout many years. Often, many times in a math class, I would have to bust my ass sideways to get a B- or a C+. And it wasn't because the material itself was overly confounding. It was because when I look at numbers, I see things and places and spaces and people's faces when other people look at numbers and they see answers and solutions. I see abstract lines. I see Keith Haring drawing doodles in his artwork studio. I see people like Saquon Barkley just jumping over people's heads, and then boom, someone's like, "Do you remember the third order of that operation?" And I'm like, "PEMDAS my ass, okay? We ain't be talking about no acronymial bullshit here, okay?" I'm bringing it full circle right now to tell you that although the math didn't add up all year long to tell us that the Eagles were the best team in football, they told us in their own way in the last 4 weeks of the season when they unequivocally busted out the bully playbook brought to you by Bird Gang, which is total bullshit. If that sounded like an advertisement, I'm sorry. But
this episode is brought to you by Total Bird Gang.
Yeah, Total Bird to you.
Is that what you said? You lost me.
Yeah, it was something like that. Anyway, yes, here are my closing thoughts on the Super Bowl. It might not be our last with this core. both
Young core.
appearance and victory. I think we got a 3 to 4 year window
You
with the
do.
nucleus.
It's
We're going
young
to have
core.
to
You got
resign
Cooper
some
DeJohn.
guys.
You got Cooper DeJohn. Did you know? And this struck a chord with everyone pretty well last night. And this is our last one because we're down to 20 seconds. But did you know that there's cheesesteaks that are being named after Cooper DeJohn in the Philly city at this point?
With the Cooper
And
Sharp, it was predestined.
and it's a
This
cheesesteak
shit
with
was
some
written in the
Cooper
stars
cheese.
47 years ago.
Yeah, Cooper DeJohn. The
Oh my God.
Hey, Cooper DeJohn, that city's adopted him, and they've adopted him pretty hard. So
Ooh-wee.
I think that brings about the end of our Super Bowl talk. Do you want me to set the next? There you go. Transition it again. Do it again.
Golf Dogs!
Thank you. Would you like me to introduce next?
Yeah, here, I'm gonna do this in the video too. Like, hey, look. Next segment.
So next, we're rolling into the GDP GSB like we do every week, and that's the Golf Dog Pod, gold, silver, bronze, because who cares about fourth and fifth? This week's topic brought to you by yours very truly. And this week we're going to be discussing, based off of another date night, we're going to be discussing the top 3 arcade games when you go. Your Chuck E. Cheese's, your Dave and Buster's, whatever your local arcade game is, or your local arcade is. What are the top 3 games that you can play while you're at the arcade?
Lights and shit.
To get away from the Rochambeau style of winning, Matt and I set a task for one another, which was to make a 4-leg parlay for the Super Bowl. The rules were pretty simple, but were very well defined. You had to have a 4-leg parlay, anything of your choosing. The odds had to be plus 250 or greater. We didn't want anyone coming in and teasing the over down to 14 points and just cruising to a victory, even though Matt will probably argue pretty adamantly with you that my odds choices were significantly more conservative than his, but put it on the ticker. Put it on the ticker. It's now 3-1, bitches, because we had a sub clause in there, which was that if we were both losers, and let me tell you, we were in fact both very large losers. The sub clause was that whoever got the most legs correct out of their 4-leg parlay would be the tie-breaking victor in this case. So my 4-leg parlay, and we'll flash these on the screen because we've learned how to edit well enough to do that at this point, and they're going to take over everything about the screen, so no one's going to see your little hand animations right now. But mine was a little plus 823. And if I'm being vulnerable with everyone, it was a semi rip-off of Dave Portnoy's bet. And
whoa.
It wasn't a rip-off. I changed factors of it so that it would not be comparative. It followed some logic, and to be honest with you,
Mike.
if I followed,
duped,
hey,
America.
If I followed his betting, you would have been in for a world of hurt, because my bet had a Saquon anytime touchdown, almost an ode to my friend that was predicting an MVP on his birthday. So I substituted a Jalen Hurts tush push, which did happen, for a Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown, Patrick Mahomes for 25 plus rushing. His was only 15. Kareem Hunt 40 plus yards, Jalen Hurts for 40 plus yards. My total payout, my total odds was a plus 823. Matt decided to go a little riskier with a same game parlay of plus 1600, which featured Devontae Smith and the Slim Reaper for a touchdown with over 70 yards of receiving for leg 2.
69.
Travis Kelce over 61.5 yards and to score a touchdown. And Travis Kelce forgot how to football.
Poor Travis.
So I hit 2 of 4 legs in Patrick Mahomes, who got exactly 25 rushing yards, and Jalen Hurts, who had 72 and set a Super Bowl record. and Matt had one of four legs with
Yeah, they call
Devontae
me
Smith and the
25%. What's
Slim
up?
Reaper Tutty. So put it on the ticker. Put it on the ticker. It's three
Moment
and
of
one.
shame.
It's 3-1. And so for the GDP, GSB, gold, silver, and bronze of the Golf Dog Pod, we have the top 3 arcade games
Number one in
for
caring.
for you, number 1 in caring. And I get to go first, which means so I'm getting my gold pick. I think the gold pick's pretty easy. Um I think it has to be in the gold position, though there is my number 2, I actually want to put it number 1, but
What the
I'm
fuck does
rolling
that
the
mean?
I have a number 2 on this list that
You just
I
trying to
prefer.
you just trying to
But for my gold,
trying to hurt me?
and let
Trying
me
to,
tell you this, I'm going to set it up this way, and it's one of the reasons that it is the gold, because we just did date night at Dave and Buster's, and I am
okay.
so pissed. I walked the floor 3 times. I walked it 3 times. And the only reason that I walked it 3 times was because I was looking for this game. Because much like the casino, when I start with roulette to determine how the rest of the night is going, much like the Super Bowl, where I bet on tails every single year, I start with this game at the
Hell
casino,
yeah.
or I'm sorry, I start with this game at the arcade every time that I go
By the way,
because
is
it
the
is
arcade
the
just a
gold
primer
medal
for
game.
children to eventually
For
be
my
in the casino?
gold,
I think so.
I'm going with skee ball. I'm going skee ball in the gold position.
That's
I'm
OG.
very upset, flustered, and annoyed with Dave and Buster's for not
Mm.
having that option for me to participate in last
Dave and
weekend when
Buster's,
I
fuck
got
you.
this incurable illness and crud from the children that were running around that Dave and Buster's, and I didn't even get it from those little wooden spheres because I couldn't
Yeah.
play it because there was no skee ball, but it is my gold. It's my number 1.
It's a fucking strong jump out of the gate. And I was sitting here, and now I will admit that's on my list, but it's follow me for a minute. It's outside of my top three, and Mike, that's not a slam on skee ball.
I didn't
I
take it
spent a
as
lot of
such.
time
I
in
took it
arcades.
as I just took it as a different line of thinking, Matt, because no one can shit on skee ball, and that's
Hundred
why it's the
percent,
gold. It
100%.
deserves to be in the position without scrutiny, and it is. So skee ball is my gold. I can appreciate that it was on your list. Given the fact that I didn't take your gold, I'm happy to hear your gold and your silver now, sir, in
As it
snake
is
draft
snake
style.
draft. Yes.
It
And
is
first of
snake
all, I do
draft.
want to
And you've
take a
never been
moment.
in this position.
I've never
So,
I've never been here.
you've never been the second choice.
I was really
So
hoping to run this up to like 9-0 or 10-0 and just start talking to you like fucking Ricky Bobby,
the
right? Where
podcast would have ceased to exist because I probably would have jumped off a bridge somewhere. That's how competitive I am. If you got the 9-0, bad things were going to happen to me, not to you, to me.
that's fair. And first of all, shout out to Mama Han, okay? Because Mama Han would always take me to the arcades. Sometimes when I was at,
Love Mama Han. Love Mama
she's the
Hot
best.
Bets.
She's the best. Mama Hot Best. You
Mama
raised a
Hot Bets
winner,
is the
Mama.
best.
Hey, Mama, you didn't raise no quitter either, okay? Shout out to Mama. She would take me to that arcade, right? And I'll be damned if she didn't hook it up with the tokens, okay?
Oh yeah.
And
It's
and I'll
credit
tell you
cards
what.
now. Also annoying, but go with the tokens. I like the tokens.
Let me just tell you something, because I struggled real hard with this one over the last couple of hours, and ultimately I decided to go down the path one of two, okay? Because I was trying to determine if I was going to make this list with my adulthood experiences in mind or my childhood, and I've gone and leaned
If
deeply into
you're
my
lucky enough,
childhood.
they can be one and the same. Huh?
That's right. Never grow
How's
up.
that for metaphorical shit on this
Mm,
podcast, huh? All
didn't
right.
feel very metaphorical. It felt literal as fucking. I loved it.
Hit me with the gold, baby. Hit me with the gold.
Cruising USA and Cruising World, same game, right? Part of the
Okay.
Cruising series brought to you by Sega Genesis, and it was awesome
Yep.
at home too, okay, with the controllers, great. But when you would snap into an arcade, boom, sit back, You have yourself a steering wheel, and you even had manual shifters that could take you first,
Yeah.
second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth gear. You could buy NAS packages. You could obliterate the competition, and you could move around in that thing a little bit too.
I do
Just
love
an
that
incredible
choice from you.
experience.
I did have that on my list. It was the very bottom. Um, but
Right next to skee ball. Got him.
no, skee ball was number one for me. It's a staple. It doesn't ever deserve to get the nicks from any arcade anywhere. I respect your Cruise America. I do love it. Some of
Oh,
those tracks were so
oh,
fun. You
so
know,
good.
there
So
was a
good.
great arcade in the local area that always had Cruise America, and we always did it when we were there. So it's a
So
great gold pick from you.
and the cruising world really opened up, like because cruising USA was first, right? And then cruising
Sure.
world came out, and those
Yeah.
international tracks,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. And I appreciate that pick from you. I don't believe that it deserves the gold spot, but I respect it.
Why you gotta do that to me, Mike?
Well, I just respect. Well,
Why you
because
got
I'm trying to
you
win
got I'm
still.
trying to be
I
friends
mean, no
here.
one votes
I
on this.
you
We
you
have
asked if we were
we
friends.
have
I was like, we're
63
brothers, right?
people
You're
who
saying a lot
don't
of
care to
shit
vote.
right now. It
And
doesn't
so,
feel like
hey,
you're my
look,
brother,
if
you
you
know?
don't
Like
want us to find out who you
you feel
are
like
and ban
you
you
think
from the channel, maybe you
you
should
know,
vote
man.
once in a while. You know what I say? Drop a fucking comment. It ain't gonna kill nobody.
That's right. Hey, listen, for the small household of people out there in America that are watching this episode when it
Yeah,
drops,
yeah.
and by that,
Tell us you want to cruise the world.
I'm inviting the whole world because we're gonna build this shit, fucking Rockefeller style, brick
All
by
right,
brick, baby.
so
Silver.
gold,
Yeah,
cruise in the
gold is
USA
cruising
slash
world,
cruise
really.
in the world.
Cruising USA, cruising world, yeah, 100%. The cruising franchise, okay, is the gold. In the silver, and this is one that we struggled with. We knew it was top three all along. I
Sure.
almost gave it the crown,
Yeah. I
and
hope it's not my two.
it is Street Fighter.
Okay.
Hadouken! Sonic Boom!
All right.
This guy, remember this guy? Where
Sure.
he's just fighting with his arm?
Sure.
Fucking Street Fighter with the fucking unit, and you got the
Yeah.
fucking joystick, and you just fucking
Yeah.
crushing people, doing kicks like this, spinning and
Okay.
shit. Uppercuts. Uppercuts,
Look,
Mike?
the only thing that I'm happy about is that you haven't touched. That wasn't even on my list. I love it.
Out of here. That wasn't on your list. Did you even grow up in America?
It was.
You want some of those cheap shirts on their way to Ecuador right now that say shit
Look.
like three-peat and we did it again, and Brittany Mahomes is now Britney
No.
Spears saying, "Oops, we lost
No.
really badly because we
No.
suck."
No, I don't. I don't want that. I will tell you.
I'd take one of those shirts.
My brother's house
Wear it
where
to
we
the
watch
gym.
the game, we have a TV, and I mean I have one here too. And before any one of you 63 people decides to comment about the fact that you can't hide money, they're $10. Okay, it's LED strips on the back of your TV. My brother and I bought them because we like to change the mood. When it's Masters Sunday or when it's Masters weekend, it doesn't leave Kelly green. Okay. And I only use Kelly Green for your benefit because that's the only reason it should be Masters Green. It's Masters Green. So Masters Green goes on the TV most of the football year. Mine stays in Honolulu blue. Last night we had Kelly Green behind the TV for the game in support of the Birds because we were announced as a Birds household. There was one true Birds fan with us. And when he got obnoxious, I did change the color on the TV to red.
Okay.
The game was over. The Gatorade dump had already occurred. So there's no harm, no foul here. But, if you're ever watching a sports event with me and you get a little out of key, I might change the background lighting to your enemy's team.
How dare you?
I'm glad that you didn't take my silver because my silver almost snuck to my gold. My silver, you ready for this?
Lay it on me.
The hot shot basketballs.
Oh, you just took my bronze. Yes.
The
go.
terminals. The terminals. And look, I'm a maniacally competitive person. Okay. My girl kicked my ass in every arcade game that we came across until we got to Hot Shot. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she did it. By the way, the dog is sneaking
What's
into
up, Sky?
frame.
How the fuck you gonna
Um,
walk away from me, Skylar?
she's
Whatever.
going back to sleep. She came out to
Whatever.
inspect what was going on. She's going back to sleep. Look, my girl kicked my ass in every single arcade game. We were we were doing breaking plates and I was throwing it, normal style, right? I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm flicking them in. And she's sitting there shovel passing them and she's racking up more points than anyone in the arcade that day. I'm convinced of it. I wasn't putting up chump numbers and it was like the Eagles playing the Chiefs. She
That's right.
embarrassed me all day until we got to hot shot basketball. And when we got there, I looked at her and I said, if you win in this one, I don't know what's going to happen in this relationship because I don't know that I can continue to stomach what's happening here
Dude, it
today.
would have been
She
great
was
if she had
beating,
just a fucking
she
sick
was
jump shot.
beating me in Wicked Tuna, dude. She was beating me in Wicked Tuna. And then we got over to Hot Shot Basketball, and I showed her why Quentin is still Quentin. And that might be the reason that it's in the silver place, but it's not. It's one of my
Ain't
favorite
no
games
quitting
to
with
play.
Quentin.
Hot Shot Basketball is a very strong silver number 2 for me. And I don't even believe that it's necessarily a question. The only problem that I have right now is that I have 3 left for the bronze position, and it is my turn in true snake draft style. And my problem is I don't know which one to go with.
I'm torn
So
now. I'm torn now. Yeah.
for my bronze, I'm going to do this. For my bronze,
Drum roll.
I'm going with, in honor of kind of the same sentiments that were just uttered, I'm going with the fishing and hunting games. And by that, I mean, is it Wicked Tuna where you're in the deep sea and you're in the fishing vessel and you're wrangling in tunas? Or are you on Big Buck Hunter where you're
Ooh.
trying to make sure that you're shooting only the buck and you're avoiding the moose and the cow but the large game items is going to be my bronze, fishing or hunting. I think it should encompass both. So that's my bronze. I don't know that I'm necessarily like over the moon about that. I had some other choices on. We can talk about that after you get done with yours if you want. But I'm very pleased with my top 3. And if anyone actually would comment on this shit, I feel like I would destroy you at this moment with skee ball,
Yes.
hot shot, and the
Yes.
fishing or hunting game. So for the love of
Yes.
God, can someone please fucking say something and vote on something? I don't care
Get
if
him.
it's 2 votes.
Get him.
Only reason I care if it's 2 votes is if it's a split decision. Because then we have to bring in a third party, and I don't want to do that. So if there's even number of votes, someone, for the love of God, please pop in and give a third, okay? But someone vote on some shit
Come
so
at my
that
boy.
someone can fucking
Come-
win one of these
Come
things.
get it.
Skee ball, hot shot basketball, and the fishing or hunting game. That's my gold, silver, bronze. I don't care about 4th or 5th. Maddie,
Before
it
I even
comes
go,
back to you for
100%.
your, I believe, for your silver and your bronze now, right?
no, I've hit the
Oh yeah, you snake drafted.
yeah.
You went cruising the world, and then what was your silver?
First of all, that you don't remember Street Fighter and that you didn't even have it on your list is
Street
very
Fighter.
offensive. Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter was a childhood experience. And before I go into my last, I do want to kind of reiterate Mike's challenge to the world. I believe deeply in Michael's skee ball, hoops, and fucking outdoor fucking fisherman, buck hunter, sportsman. I'm going to put $100 out there for any of you goons that think you can meet us at Dave and Buster's. I'll even buy your drinks because after I take your Benjamin, I'll be up $75 anyway and kick you out the fucking door while Mike waves to you with that shit-eating grin that says, Thanks for coming, but we all know that you didn't even need to. And then I'll buy Mike some drinks with the winnings, and we'll just laugh and giggle and high five. Probably make a fucking meme or a video out of it. Drop it
I
on
do.
at Golf Dogs on the
I
Instagram.
appreciate that vote of confidence from
That's
you.
just
And
where
if
I'm at.
if anybody would show up,
Anybody?
and I might just call somebody out at this point.
Yeah. Hey,
Should
type.
we call out a little Danny D or a little Mikey D and say show up to a Dave and Buster's near you and just get worked?
Yeah.
I'm ready to do
Yeah.
it.
Hey Doyle,
If
you
any
trying to
of
get
them,
worked by Mike
if
while I
either
talk
one of
shit?
them are watching and they want to show up to a Dave and Buster's and take me on, and either well, you
Oh,
can't
this is
you
just
can't
getting
do
even
skee
better.
ball at Dave and Buster's. So, but if you want to take me on in hot shot basketball or any fishing and hunting game of your choice,
There's a
just
place in
bring it.
Exton that has all of these things and a bowling alley, and it's
Uh,
legit.
I'll be there.
Yeah, and there's a
I'll
nice
be
brewery
there.
next door. We could break bread and have a couple beers after.
I'll be
Oh
there.
yeah, let's see.
Anyone want to step up to the table? We'll go. We'll do it. We'll square this up. We'll make things right. What's your bronze, sir?
Man, I've been filibustering for some time now because
You're
I'm
still
real
trying to
torn,
decide?
real torn, and
I get it.
I'm also trying to diversify my offerings here. But I think I have to just be honest with myself. And while part of me wanted to go golden tea, I have to be honest and stick to the
Mhm.
childhood component of this. And golden tea really didn't come
Golden
into my
Tee is more of a
vocabulary
bar
for.
game though than it
Yeah,
is an
yeah,
arcade game,
and it's
right?
number one in my life now. I love some golden tea. Got that shit
Well,
right here in
but
the basement.
still,
Let's
I would
go.
still argue until I'm blue in the face that that's more appropriate if you and I want to talk about the best bar games at some point. But
Love that.
I've yet to find Golden Tee in a traditional arcade setting.
Love that. So I'm gonna take it all the way back to NBA Jam arcade version.
Oh, all right. I'm very jealous of that pick. Go on.
Listen, that it
Yeah,
lasted till bronze because I tinkered with that one too. I mean, listen, Cruising USA/World was also part of many like sleepovers with the homies. Like when we were in
sure,
like fucking fifth grade, and it was like, hey,
sure,
the place we chilling at, play basketball like until it gets dark, then go in and fire up some fucking Totino's pizza rolls,
sure.
right? Just go to work on some shit, maybe some Dr. Pepper, maybe throw a little something in there, maybe not, right? Just leave America wondering, and then flip it over to NBA Jam and just do fucking flip dunks, guys on fire from three-quarter court line. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
He's
and just
heating up.
it's like as a guy that played basketball competitively for a while, there was nothing more fun and funny to watch than knowing that you could just body check the shit out of a dude in
Yeah,
NBA Jam and he go flying, right? And you just pick up the ball.
it's the
And then you fucking
basketball.
helicopter dunk it from three-quarter court, Sean Kemp style.
It's the basketball equivalent of NFL Blitz, and
Yes.
and to your point, it deserves a very high spot in this. I also, to your point that you mentioned earlier, and I find it to be a little bit interesting that the choices just came out that way, but you're not wrong. My gold, silver, and bronze are a large indication of who I am as a human being. So
Mine are an indication of the ADHD that
I
I
like
love.
I like classics. I like things that keep you active, and I love being an outdoorsman. Okay, so yeah, my gold, silver, bronze, very much an indication of who I am. NBA Jam deserves to be mentioned in any sentence that you're putting together, as long as it's a positive sentence, because what a game.
What a game.
What a game,
What a
NBA
game.
Jam. He is heating up. He's on fire. I mean, it's
Just
just
an incredible game. What a
yeah,
game.
and in the same sentiment, so is NFL Blitz.
Yes.
When
But
I think
Blitz
of
came
arcade,
sometime later. Blitz
when
came
I think of
sometime
arcade,
later.
I think of actually physically being active during the game. I like to be
Okay. I like
doing
that.
something. Now, having said that, your Cruise America and like Cruise the USA and Cruise the World, I
Yeah.
count
Yeah.
that as physically active because you're
Yeah. Yeah.
physically doing something. That's the
Yeah.
only reason that I stayed away from NBA Jam, because NBA Jam was at the top of my brain Um, and I love the fact that you threw it into the mix. It's a great game. It's probably the only thing that I would say could sway this whole thing, but anybody let us know. Anybody decide
This
the
one
gold,
is
silver,
is is
bronze of
going to
your
Mikey,
life and
and
which
it'll be
one of us
cemented.
itemized it better.
It's going to be cemented if somebody challenges Mike and Mike beats him. It will be cemented forever. That Mike
Well,
came to the GSB Super Bowl Monday following the just total domination and destruction of the Kansas City Chiefs at the hands of the Philadelphia Fly Eagles Fly. The polls are greased. The people are here. Give them what they want. They want 17 beers Friday morning before noon. They want to shit their pants in a back alley in a Philadelphia runway and just say, well, now it's 4:30 and I've woken up again and I need a cheesesteak and 16 more beers. And I
and
need to
that
be arrested
cheesesteak
tonight
better be
for being
made with
unruly.
Cooper cheese because I'm
Cooper
coming in for
DeJohn.
Cooper DeJohn. I'm
Mm,
coming in for Cooper
mm,
DeJohn. Give me that Cooper cheese. Give me the
woo,
namesake. The
mm.
kid had a pick six on his birthday.
Incredible.
You know, you didn't think about that angle. You didn't think about the fact that it was also Cooper DeJohn's birthday,
Didn't
and that
put a
maybe he
lot on
was
the
going to
Eagles money
be
line.
maybe he was going to be the hero in Philly. I guess I should have taken that Philly defensive touchdown like I had considered. So, but hey, the timer that you heard going off in the background was to remind us to stay on topic that we had the gold, silver, bronze completed. We crushed it
We did. We
in
did bad
great
things to it.
timing. I think you have a fantastic list. Um,
Do you want to
and
hear the whole
so
list rapid fire?
for anybody listening, we're going to need you to vote
Ooh.
either for Matthew
Hey, what's
with
up? It's your boy.
cruising cruising USA / cruising the world in his gold position and in his silver Street Fighter and in bronze he's heating up, which maybe he should have put in the gold position so he truly could be heating up. The bronze position of NBA Jam or myself with a tried and true classic of skee ball,
Skee ball.
hot shot basketball,
I shot
and
hoops.
any fishing or hunting game of your choice, whether it be something like Wicked Tuna or Big Buck Hunter. We'd
Is
love to
that
hear
mud?
your thoughts in the comments. Matt, I bring
Yeah,
it
what's
back
up?
to you. We've
Hey,
wrapped
listen.
up the GDP, GSB, the gold, silver, bronze. Who cares about fourth and fifth? I certainly don't. Anything
Okay.
you want to add today, sir?
First of all, just call me Christmas gifts because I'm wrapping shit up. I do want to rapid fire my list for America to understand what went through my brain in the last few hours. We got, in no particular order, Golden Tee, Street Fighter, Cruising USA, Skee Ball, Hoops, NBA Jam, Jurassic Park, The Immersive Experience, Pac Man
Okay.
for an OG, Halo, which is just ridiculous. Play that with my
Okay.
son sometimes. And Mortal Kombat, dun, 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 like
Okay.
Goro coming out with 16 arms.
You had a fantastic list. I'm not going to take that from you. You had a fantastic list that you had cooked up. I did have Pac Man on here.
Gotta have Pac
I
Man on.
did also have a sleeper pick of Whack a Mole.
Oh, dude, I thought about that because, like, oh my God, when you're like 5, 6, 7 years old, even like 10, whack a mole, fuck out of here.
I'm
How about
35. I'm
39 with some
35
beers?
years old, and when I see a
Yes.
whack a mole, I have to participate.
Yeah.
So I have more Velcro hands monkeys than one can speak of from whack a mole. I
Mm,
enjoy it. Again, the physical activity side of it, actually smacking those little sons of bitches when they pop out that hole.
100%.
But I look, hey, Halo. If I'm being real vulnerable with you for a minute, there's two things that Dave and Buster's really pissed me off with. Number one was the fact
Mm,
that they had gotten rid of skee ball.
mhm.
Number 1A, because it doesn't deserve to be listed as number two,
I
is the
respect that.
fact that they got rid of the Halo experience, which was like a
Oh,
submersive,
yeah.
like you're
Oh,
in
yeah.
there, your surround sound, it's an orb. You're in
I
an
hate to be
orb.
overly bold, Mike, but I'm now hearing what I just heard. Fuck Dave and Buster's.
Fuck Dave and Buster's. I'm over Dave and Buster's. I was over Dave and Buster's when I left there. And the fact that those little kids gave me the crud less than 2 days later, and I've been hacking up a lung ever since,
I want
it's
to see a
taken
CDC report. I want to see a health
it's
check on that
taken every
fucker.
fiber of my being not to hack into this fucking microphone tonight.
Yeah,
And you know who's at fault for it? Dave and fucking Buster's. So I've had enough of them. You got rid of Skee Ball. You got rid of Halo. You don't do tokens anymore. Also, by the way, we won like 4,000 tickets while we were there, right?
I love that.
And what does the woman buy? She bought cowtails. There are 100 tokens apiece.
They're delicious,
So
though.
it's like, look, all I said to her was like, hey, hold on to the credit card because that's how the world works anymore. And I was like, go buy yourself a case of cowtails whenever you want. But look, hey, love her. Simple girl. Loves her cowtails. Love that. We didn't need the JBL speaker that was 70,000 tickets. We got
We camp out
cowtails.
there for a week and spend $3,600
And
bucks and get that $48 speaker. Let's
And
go.
had we known that we were going to be infected with this crud upon leaving, which I also kind of blamed. Do you know what the light game is? I don't even know what it's called, but they
I've
give
seen
you
it,
like, let's
but
just say
yeah.
they give you like 20 buttons,
Right.
maybe even 30, and they light up and you got to push them, right? As they light up, and whoever can do it the quickest and all. That's where I feel like I got the crud from. That's But it could have been from anywhere. It could have been from the snot-nosed kid that was beside me. Who knows? But to your point, and let's just reiterate it. Fuck Dave and Buster's. I'm coming out to Exton
right.
next time we're going to
100%.
an arcade. We're going to see some of the classics. Anyone that wants to show up, that wants to show out, that wants to put their money where their mouth is, and it doesn't even have to be their money because it's your money. It's
My money.
your money, Matt. But we'll take them down. We'll win. Danny
It's my
D,
money, and I
Mikey
want it
D,
now. Call JG
anybody that's
Wentworth.
watching that wants to come to Exton, Pennsylvania, we'll be there. All right? We're going to be there, and we're going to get after it.
It's our backyard. And to
Anything
take it
to
home
add?
for a moment, yeah, I got something to wrap it up because,
All right.
in the words of my friend Mike, and if you'd scroll back maybe 3 or 4 minutes, you would appreciate his mention of something that is stuck in the background of my mind that I have worked diligently in the last few minutes to keep there, and that is the Velcro hands monkey. And that little fucker, he doesn't lie. And if you ask yourself,
Never lies.
why doesn't he lie? Right? The answer is simple. Because he's got Velcro in his hands. Shit just sticks to him, right? And that's just a metaphor to say that he owns it. He lets it stick to him. He is a Philadelphia Eagle, and that was where we walked in with tonight. A motherfucking eagle on our chest. Because we've been to Hawk Mountain in Pennsylvania, and we've overlooked the pride of Pennsylvania, which is a goddamn eagle. And I'm sorry if you go to church and that offends you. But yesterday, we took the fucking Kansas City Chiefs to church, and we taught them a lesson. We took them to a biblical place, and we just beat the living snot out of them. We punched them, we kicked them, we shit on their dreams. And we got to watch Kelly Swift and Travis Kelce look like fucking kids that just had all of their candy taken out of their fucking sleeping bags or whatever kids put candy in. Because I swear to God, Mike, I see them walking around these neighborhoods just hauling big bags. And I'm thinking, what's that about? I'll tell you what it's about. It's about Andy Reid eating cheeseburgers on the sideline. Why? Because Jameis Winston was all out of W's because he gave them to the birds down there in New Orleans, and we just chomped them up. We just and you know what? We're not going anywhere.
You're a young squad.
We're not going anywhere.
You're going to be
Fucking
a formidable
Eagles.
squad for years to come. And, last year, I think the only shame of this, and there's no reason to go to the negative thinking side of this, but you guys had enough talent last year.
Objection.
There was something that happened to round out last year that lost the locker room. And I, like many people in this world, I'm not a fan, so I don't want to say that I was calling for his head because I'm not a fan. I don't care if he fails. But I would have been the number one proponent for blaming someone like Nick Sirianni. And quite frankly, I feel like that loss of locker room, I feel like that stuck with a lot of Phillies fans through the first 4 to 5 weeks of this regular season. And then somewhere in the middle of this season, or shortly before the middle of this season, there was something that came together. And how can you fault a guy who's been there twice in 4 years and has won one of them? So
He just wins. He just finds a way to win.
I don't think he's the big dumb dipshit that everyone talks about. I'm not. I'm still. He's perfect for the city. I for anyone that doesn't know, I work in Philadelphia and have been very close to that city for 4 years now. I have met Nick Sirianni 1,000 times, but it's never been him. It's just
well played.
he is that city. And you know what? There's something to be said for somebody that shows the essence of who they're leading. And I don't mean that the city of Philadelphia is big dumb dipshits. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that Nick Sirianni is your leader, and he proved himself this week. So for anybody that hates him, maybe reconsider, because he just brought a title back to the city of brotherly shove.
He sure fucking did.
And that's only their second, right? Nick.
It is. Yeah.
Big Dick Nick was the first.
Big Dick Nick and Jalen
with Philly
made it hurts.
Yeah.
Took him to school. Took him to places. And I do want to just say for a minute that you mentioned something momentarily ago. It was really good, Mike. It was really good and it stuck with me, and then it quickly left me. So I just want to tell our audience here that it's been great of them to join us, and we can continue recording after this or not. It really doesn't matter to me. But I want to thank you for being a golf dog from the bottom of my golf dog's heart. And someday, when I meet you in Exton, not at Dave & Buster's, because fuck Dave & Buster's, you'll be our number one fan.
Dave & Buster's. Fuck that place.
You'll be our number one fan, whoever you are out there that thinks that they can take down Michael in these games, because I know you fucking can't. Because you know why? Because he's a golf dogs!
And more importantly, the second part of that, the kid is a dog. So we want to thank you for tuning in yet again this week. We hope that you enjoyed our Super Bowl chats and some of our spirited debates in regard to the best arcade games that exist in the world. We hope that you're a follower. We hope that you're an appreciator. We hope that you're a fan. And we appreciate you stopping by. Golf Dogs, number one in caring. Matthew?
Fuck Dave & Buster's. Have a great night, everyone.
Fuck Dave & Buster's.
Oh, shit. All right, I'm going to stop recording.
I do love the fact that we shit on Dave & Buster's within that, because that was like number one on my list. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I just, dude.